Life changing.
Welcome to episode 3 of Terra Neuh 1. This is the Knightwatchman.
Rubber Ducky.
Dark Intern. How we doing today?
Well, I'm doing good. I was going to leave the lights off for Dark Intern,
Yeah.
for it to be dark in
Cool.
here, but
I don't want to be in a dark room with you guys.
we turned the lights on.
All right, so Dark Intern, you tell us what our,
We were talking about artificial intelligence in movies.
or books or whatever. Just in pop
Or
culture,
anything.
artificial intelligence. Rubber Ducky is pretty much artificially intelligent.
Yeah.
I'm just artificial. There's no intelligence there at all. So start us off. What where you want to start at?
What do you got? Name us some
Some movies.
artificial movies. Artificial intelligence.
Let's see. All the Terminators.
Yes.
Count that. Eagle Eye.
Yes.
iRobot.
I haven't seen Eagle Eye in forever.
I saw it once.
I. Yeah, I saw it once. Like 2009. Whenever it came out.
Stealth
Stealth, yes.
with
Age of Ultron. In the Marvel Universe. There have been multiple Star Trek episodes. There have been Twilight Zone episodes about it, that kind of thing. Of course, you've got the... there's a TV show that I was really into for a while called Humans on AMC. Did you ever watch that?
I watched like one episode of it.
I watched it for about a season or so, and then I lost interest. It just seemed like they had a really good concept, and it just didn't go anywhere. So I don't know if it's still on or not. I haven't seen anything about it, but it wasn't very interesting. But I would have to say for, probably in the biggest
Isn't there
artificial intelligence movie in pop culture would be the Terminator films.
Yeah. Isn't there a Scarlett Johansson movie out now that was artificial intelligence or something like that?
She's like a. She's like a
Can't think of the
superhuman.
name of
She's
it.
like a superhuman.
It's not Lucy.
It is.
Some,
I think
no.
it's like Lucy.
Was it Lucy?
There was
Yeah.
Lucy, yes.
Okay.
But
she's
that
like
wasn't
a-
artificial intelligence.
Oh,
She's
no.
like a superhuman.
Like Cyborg?
Yeah, it was kind of more of a, she had a drug put in her body or something. And
No, this is a different movie.
Ooh, does
from
that count?
one.
Does that count like Limitless? Is that like
No,
artificial
we're
intelligence?
not doing drug.
Yeah, but technically.
You want to talk about Blow? Johnny Depp?
Yeah, but it kind of. I mean, what is? Okay, maybe we should define what's artificial intelligence.
Okay, go for it. What is it in your opinion?
He's like, I was hoping y'all would do that.
I was
That's
setting
great.
you up for that one.
Ghost in a
I think
Shell.
maybe like.
Ghost in the Shell
Oh,
was a movie that came out with Mrs. Johansson that
Yes.
I think was artificial intelligence. I didn't see
No.
it. I don't know if y'all saw it.
it wasn't. Ghost in the
I will
Shell
go
is-
ahead and answer that for you since you seem to not know what artificial intelligence is. It would be, I guess, a robotic, man-made intelligence, something that was made by us to help us and probably got out of hand, like Ultron or something like that.
It's not biological.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
biological. It is all machine.
Could have told you that.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't.
After I told you to tell me that.
All right,
Okay,
so
all right.
what's your favorite artificial intelligence movie?
Well, definitely
Or-
the Terminators are
Okay,
obviously Terminator 2 is amazing.
yes, they're definitely.
I liked all, even the later ones. I liked like the.
Did you?
Yeah.
Mm.
What was the? I know I did. What was the?
Answers a lot about you.
What was the? I guess I didn't like it too much because I can't remember. the
Terminator
name.
Salvation.
No, it was.
Terminator
What's the most-
Genesis.
Genesis was
Yeah.
the most recent.
Yeah.
There was a show with what's her face? Sarah Connor.
Yeah, there was the
There
Sarah
was
Connor
the-
Chronicles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're obviously a lot worse.
There's so
originals,
many
but-
different directions you can go with the Terminator movies because you can also deal with time travel, which is going to be on an upcoming episode. But as far as the artificial intelligence goes, I feel like that with the Terminators, when James Cameron did them, of course, they really had that. They really keyed on the artificial intelligence and the computers really, or the machines wanting to take us over. And I felt like they kind of got away from that, and it was more just an action film that was already, they kind of, in the later movies, it was like, oh, well, we've kind of established that, and now we have to do something different. We have to have a liquid Terminator, and we have to have a female liquid Terminator, and we have to have a biological Terminator, and all that. And it's like, nah, I didn't like.
I
it,
liked
but
Salvation a little bit. That's not my favorite one, but I liked that one.
I would have to say that's my third favorite.
But Terminator 2 was just awesome.
Terminator 2 is definitely my first, and then of course the original Terminator is right behind Terminator 2, and then Salvation would be next, and then after that I don't even care.
Yeah.
Because the rest of them I just
liked Terminator 1. It didn't. It's probably the first time in history that the second movie in a series did better than the first movie. But I think I was probably one of these people that didn't even know there was a first Terminator. I thought Terminator 2 was like the first Terminator. And
that's ridiculous, since the
movie
had 2 in the
But I mean, I saw it as a kid, and this is, my parents took me to see Terminator when I was like 5. Parents of the year. But I didn't know the name of it. I just knew it was the Terminator.
Right.
But I saw the second one. I never saw the first one. So hence why I didn't know there was a first one, because I thought it was the first one. But I think there were people out there that thought Terminator 2 was like the first Terminator, because it was the most popular and the best one. So that's all I've got on Terminator. Yeah. I love the movie.
So what do we think made Terminator stand out in the form of artificial intelligence? Is
it was just the first time they ever really did
it was a relatively new concept.
Right. Well, I mean, it wasn't really new, but probably when it really became popular amongst people. There had been other movies and television shows and stuff that had done it. Even Star Trek had done it back in the 60s. But I think with artificial intelligence, my feelings on that always is, to make a good movie, entertaining movie, you've got to have an enemy. So the artificial intelligence is fun and that kind of thing. But when it comes to where we're going in real life, I just don't know that I'm sold on the fact that machines are just going to one day. I think that there will be artificial intelligence. I mean, we're getting very close with things like Alexa and Siri and stuff like that. So I know we're going to get there.
Cars that drive themselves.
But I don't know that an artificial intelligence is going to come to the conclusion that it needs to wipe us out.
Oh, we're talking about in real life now?
Well, yeah.
Oh, it's going to kill us. We cannot make it.
Dark Intern.
Gen Z right there.
Dark Intern is sold on the movie concept.
No, come on. Like, why would it not?
And that's what I said. For movies and everything, it's fun because it's almost like bordering on horror movie, because you're talking about something that is as intelligent as us, but is stronger and is has a metal skin.
More intelligent than us and doesn't have any resolve.
Yeah, what was
can do what it wants with no consequence.
What was that point? You made a good point the other day. Remember when we were talking about this over there? What was that you said? Because I said that same thing. I was like, they're gonna kill us, and you gave me a good point.
I feel like we had talked about this in one of the other episodes. A lot of times when we write movies or write stories and that kind of stuff, we like to put our ego, man or mankind's ego into the story, and we always feel like that. What would we do if we were, because we are actively trying to destroy ourselves with wars and with all the things that we do. So we put that, how we act as humans onto what these robots or these machines would do. And I don't necessarily know that they would come to that conclusion. We have a lot of things in us that, emotions and things like that may not necessarily translate robotically. Even though they may have an intelligence, they're going to still be based on some kind of a logic system. They're not just going to go on feelings and things like that like we do. So I don't know that it would go that direction necessarily. I think it would be more like a symbiote relationship where the machines will realize that they can work in harmony with us, and will appreciate us because we're their creator, versus, they always want to show that the robots always want to destroy their creator.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily know that that's true, because I don't even think that humans feel that way. I think that humans who feel like that they, ones that do have a religious tendency, don't necessarily want to destroy their creator. They would like to know him better and that kind of thing. So I don't know how come that is, other than it makes for a fun story, and I love movies like that.
I liked the take that they took in Stealth on artificial intelligence of trying to make an unmanned aircraft that went off and it shorted out or something and learned everything on the fucking internet and then like wanted to go like take out targets that we weren't like, you know, going through like strategic plans that hadn't really happened,
Right.
or weren't real. They were just like
War game
type things. So it was gonna like take them out. Like it was gonna like that kind of shit could really happen.
There's another one, War Games. What a great movie that is.
Yeah.
I don't know if either one of you saw that. That's an older movie back in the early 80s, but that was a really good one on artificial intelligence.
So I think those takes on what the like more of a military presence
Yes.
for artificial intelligence. I thought the iRobot take was good for like, you know, they're trying to create a help-based system where everyone can buy this thing and it helps you in everyday life, so you can live this life and this thing does all the hard shit for you and you just have to live and it's great. But then it kills somebody and they go crazy and find out there's this whole deeper thing to it.
Yes.
Well, a lot of times I feel like the movies do that. It's like there's two forms of it. They either do like the robots, like the intelligent robots that are like super strong, or they do like the supercomputer route. And the supercomputer route is probably pretty close to already existing in today's society.
Supercomputer route is the most feasible.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's something that we're dealing with cyber warfare as of now. Like it would be more crippling for an enemy to use some type of artificial intelligence to get into our stocks and destroy our economy than it would for them to build some robot that comes over here and kills everybody.
Yeah.
Like, we could get through that. The economy part, that's, you remember 9/11?
Yes.
Yeah.
It'd be the same type of thing, just with cyber warfare, which is kind of an artificial intelligence.
I think the supercomputer leads to the other one.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think that the robot one comes first. I think the supercomputer, and that's basically where Terminator was, because Skynet started out as a supercomputer, and then it built, you know, the robots. So I
Isn't
think
Matrix the same way? Did
yes.
they build
well,
this like super crazy
It's like a
supercomputer
sci-
that started building these robots to protect
I'm trying
it?
to remember, because they didn't go into a lot of detail on how it all started. I remember that Morpheus said that it was kind of sketchy, and we don't know who started it, but they kind of seemed to lead that it was more of a robot thing. But I'm sure that probably in the more deeper lore, like we've talked about, the people that live in their mom's basement and, you know, study every little thing on comics and books and all that kind of stuff, could probably tell you, oh yeah, in the book that the Wachowski brothers wrote, and, you know.
But the
stuff like
Matrix
that, but-
itself was this huge supercomputer that was generating this
Correct.
world that people live in, kind of like what we would say right now is like The Sims,
Right.
but on like a way crazier
Sure.
thing.
Because it controls more things. You know, a supercomputer can get into, you know, and especially now with the internet and that kind of stuff, it can get into, you know, computer-controlled cars and computer, you know, robots, if we had robots, which we're getting very close to. Did you see the video of that robot that was doing parkour? Have you seen that thing? That's just creepy. First off, it's creepy because it looks human, except it doesn't have a head, you know, and it's got this big backpack with all of its, you know, that's just weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you take something like Alexa and you put it in this robot that can do parkour, and we're there. You know what I'm saying? Pretty close.
Now we've got something that knows everything and can also kill you.
Yes, that's right.
Dude, we're gonna kill ourselves. I'm telling you. We need to pull the plug.
The Dark Intern's pulling. Go back to the caveman days.
The Dark Intern is.
Well, think about how far we came. When did we create the telephone, the first telephone? What year?
Early 1900s.
Yeah. So it took from then till 1998 or so to create the first like smart handheld device, and then like within 20 years. So it took us 80 years to get to one point, and now it's taken us 20 years to multiply that by 1,000.
That's exactly what the Terminator
That's
said.
insane.
When John Connor in the Terminator 2, when he was asking him how, you know, things happened, and to tell him about Judgment Day, and that's what he said, that the computer came online, and when it got smarter, it started growing at a geometric rate, which means it was doubling and then tripling, and it wasn't just, it was
Yeah.
going super fast, just like what you're talking about. We've gone from, from telephones and TVs and radios up to the internet, which is now just, we're flying.
Well, and like
in
same
just
thing with like electricity.
10, 15 years.
We discovered electricity, and then we create a light bulb, and then we had powered lights, and now look at the crap that we have in our houses. You can control your lights from your phone to be 75 different colors.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and that happened in like a short span.
Right.
That's how the supercomputer, the artificial intelligence is going to happen. We've done all this stuff, and now we have these computers that are connected to all of other computers.
Yes.
And we're going to fucking kill
However,
ourselves, like you said.
When it comes to supercomputers and comes to robots and all that kind of stuff, they do have one weakness that we don't necessarily have, and it's a pretty big one. Can you think of it?
Electricity.
Power.
Mm-hmm.
Even our best batteries right now can only last, a couple of hours. We've got,
Not true. I have a battery in my chest. It lasts 9 years.
But that battery's recharged, isn't it?
No.
It's not recharged?
It's always running in my chest. I don't plug in.
No, but I know,
Or
but I
like-
thought that the motion of your heart recharged that.
I don't think so. I think it's just a lithium ion.
Okay. So even so,
But still, like you said, there is a time limit on
Right.
the amount, and with this is just like.
and that's a pretty small battery, and it probably has a pretty.
Well, this shocks my heart if it goes out of
Right.
rhythm. So it doesn't use a lot of power. It lasts 9 years on that. But
See.
like for something that's pulling the kind of power that a robot would need,
Right.
yeah, probably not.
So you're a cyborg, basically.
It's kinda
Yes.
cool.
By
We
the
got
definition of a cyborg, yes,
He's
you are
artificial
a cyborg.
He is artificial intelligence.
Well, I told you.
I told you it's artificial. There's no intelligence. There's no intelligence.
So anyway, being power, like even you said that battery has 9 years or whatever, but it's still probably not generating a lot of electricity like something.
And there
the
might
size
be
of a
something, I don't know
robot.
much about it. I don't know a lot about
Right.
what it does. There might be something in my body that generates some type of frictional power base.
But it probably has such a small electrical charge that it causes that you
Yeah.
don't even notice it. So,
But I
it
can't
can
get my
last a long
Xbox controller batteries to last more than 30 fucking minutes.
or a drone.
Yeah.
If you think about these drones and everything like that, they have like a 20-minute lifespan. Now you're talking
Yeah.
about something that would have to generate, our size, like a robot or whatever like that. So
Even
that
the-
is a
what if
pretty
even
it
the-
big-
gets so smart? it
Even
can,
a
like,
brand
charge
new phone, like the newest Samsung, will only last like 2 days.
You're right.
And that's like fresh out the box.
Yes.
And you're not using it for 48 hours straight.
Correct. Yeah. So that's a pretty big, weakness. But at the same time,
We got him there.
yeah,
But there's also
we
the thing
generate
that
our
they
own
have
energy.
that we don't have, and that would be, in the sense of like power or destructive power. A machine has no limit on what it like. We build muscles like The Rock
right.
to be powerful, but you have to do that over years to get like that. And those things are just with hydraulics. They're just already can crush me in half.
Correct.
So that's something they have that we don't have.
Right.
They can kill us all like that. We just have to outlast the power. Just got to run their batteries out. EMP bitches. You got anything to add there?
I'm just
Yeah,
scared.
you're just over there being quiet.
Yeah, because I'm thinking.
I think
about-
he's artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I'm just scoping y'all out. Like right now,
The red
it's
dot.
like, and it's giving me a bunch of information about you.
Well, you've already learned
It's-
he's a cyborg.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
already.
He's bionic.
I've already talked to
My weakness
commanding
is
officer.
running.
So that was kind of what we just talked about was like Eagle Eye. That was basically what Eagle Eye was.
They all are. They all have that same thing.
What about video games? Weren't there some good games with like artificial intelligence? Like some. If I hadn't have brought that set up, I probably could have.
Oh, you could do like a
game that-
construct, Cortana, she's artificial.
Sure,
She was.
she's absolutely artificial
Probably
intelligence.
the
yeah.
most famous artificial intelligence in video games.
Something got named after
Yeah,
her.
Microsoft uses Cortana
Yeah, she's
as
the
their
thing on the computer.
she's their Siri or
Yeah,
their
that's
Alexa.
funny.
Bungie made the Ghost shell for Destiny is an artificial intelligence as well.
Yeah.
So
It's a popular
It's
enemy.
used. I don't know if it. And there's also in Destiny has a lot of artificial intelligence.
Yeah,
So,
so
we
if
could do a whole show
If we
on
get
what
something
Destiny
like
has.
if we get something like her, Well, she's basically a computer too, isn't she? Like, what was she a computer? Because she was like mobile. She was like a
Yeah, she was
like a tiny like.
Ooh,
she was basically
Resident
a computer.
Evil is probably flies under the radar as an artificial intelligence. But remember the first Resident Evil movie?
The
The
Red
whole thing was set up through artificial intelligence. That's the whole reason why that base that they released the drug was because of she like shut that shit down.
Right. The Red Queen was supposed to be the last line of
The
defense.
failsafe.
If anything happened. So.
Did you
locked
ever
it down.
see Resident Evil? Oh my god.
Which never made sense to me because I enjoy the Resident Evil movies. They're kind of like one of those guilty pleasures.
Yeah.
You know that they're really
Fast and the
stupid.
Furious movies? Yeah.
Yes, they're really stupid, but I just enjoy them. Plus, Mila Jovovich, or however you pronounce her last name,
Djokovic.
is freaking hot. But that never made sense to me in that first movie because if the Red Queen was the last line of defense and she shut everything down and was going to kill everything inside, why did these military guys feel like they needed to bust in there and find out what was going on? Wouldn't she have sent some kind of a signal to say, hey, I'm taking care of this. We
don't
had to
come down
shut
here.
things down. Why would she open up her doors and let these military people in there and then shut them down and then they had to try to fight their way back out? Never made sense, but I still enjoyed the movie.
That
Just-
first one
they're-
was so good. The first in the Hive.
The Hive, yeah,
That
down
was
below.
so good.
It was a
You
good
need
concept.
You need to watch that movie.
Have
It's
you
not
seen-
it's not that scary. It's just
There's
some
some other
point.
video games with stuff.
I can't think of any right offhand. I mean, Cortana.
I would honestly say any of the more futuristic games that are coming out now have some type of
Oh yeah.
AI component to them.
Jarvis is an AI.
Well, not really. Jarvis is just a very powerful supercomputer, and here's I'm
He
glad you
doesn't
brought
do
this up.
anything but give information.
I'm glad you brought this up because as I was thinking about this the other day that we were going to talk about this, I was like, okay, so Ultron is the artificial intelligence, and I've always kind of felt that Jarvis was an artificial intelligence, but Tony Stark says in the movie that he's not, that he's trying to develop the Ultron character. So I was like, well, what makes Jarvis different? But then I got to thinking about it. Jarvis is almost like, and his name comes from Tony Stark's butler when he was a kid. That's why I named him Jarvis. Because Jarvis is, you have to ask Jarvis for something. Jarvis is a read and react kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't just do
Information.
anything on his own. Tony has to tell him, Jarvis, do this, Jarvis, do that. So it's kind of like Alexa. He's just a super powerful Alexa. Where Ultron could actually make decisions on his own. He didn't need anybody to tell him the truth. At least that's the way I'm feeling it going, because I can never think of any instances where Jarvis did anything on his own, except after Ultron. What's the word I'm looking for?
Materialized?
No, when Ultron attacked him, because remember in Age of Ultron, Jarvis was running the diagnostics, and Ultron came awake.
Yeah.
When Ultron attacked Jarvis, then after that, Jarvis was the one that was protecting the mainframe and from allowing Ultron to get access to like nuclear codes and that kind of stuff. He was protecting all those things from Ultron. And
As
he
a
did that
failsafe.
as a failsafe, but he did that on his own. Nobody told him to do that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that he was infected by Ultron slightly, and I won't say that he turned into an artificial intelligence until he went into the Vision. Then Jarvis did become a full artificial intelligence with the Vision. But now, see, the Vision kind of goes back to the way I, earlier in the podcast we were talking about, that I don't necessarily feel like machines will just come up with the idea of, let's just destroy man. They're evil. Like the Vision did, because when the Vision came alive, the thing that Thor asked him was, "Are you with us or against us?" And he said, "I'm neither one." He said, "But I don't stand with Ultron and what he believes in. But I don't feel like we need to."
So was
destroy
Ultron
man.
artificial intelligence?
Yes, Ultron was absolutely artificial intelligence.
Why can't I remember what's the name of the character that he's not really an artificial. What's his name? He's in Civil War. He's the guy who is supposed to keep the girl
The
in
Vision.
the house. Oh, that's him.
That's the Vision.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, the guy with the red face with
Yeah.
the green and the
Mhm.
yellow cape.
I didn't. They
Vision.
were calling him something else.
Well,
Well,
she calls him Viz.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I can. The reason he's called the Vision in
Who's the guy that plays him?
Paul Bettany, who
Paul
was the
Bettany.
same guy who did Jarvis's voice.
Mhm.
He's called the Vision because it was Ultron's vision of where he wanted to go. In the movie, Ultron wanted to put his consciousness into that body because that scientist that they were working with, the Avengers were working with, had come up with a way of producing biological matter. So Ultron, instead of being a metal machine, he wanted to put his consciousness into a biological body. So that's why he had her build the Vision body. He was going to download himself into it, but before he did, the Avengers stopped him, and then they downloaded Jarvis into him. And so that's where I think Jarvis, once he was corrupted or invaded, let's say, not corrupted, by Ultron, that he became slightly an artificial intelligence plus the use of the Mind Stone that was in the
And let's take a moment to recognize James Spader, who did a fantastic job. With
Oh my
Ultron.
gosh,
I love
loved
James
his-
Spader.
What a
He's
great voice
great
for Ultron.
in everything he does.
So I loved his voice.
Yeah, I've liked him through everything he's done, and to follow up with
Stargate.
Stargate,
I love
Blacklist.
Stargate. Blacklist is great.
I love him in Blacklist.
Good show that was.
But yeah, on the artificial intelligence thing, it's a fun subject. It's fun to watch those movies, but it's like the odds of that really ever happening to the point where movies take it, I can't see it. Now,
That's what everyone in the movies said.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dark Intern. You know what's funny to me is there's a lot of scientists that believe just like Dark Intern. And I mean pretty intelligent guys like Elon Musk.
Yeah,
and
he's
stuff.
like
He's scared to death. He's
Yeah.
he's afraid that for sure the first time we send that thing online, it's going to bomb us right out of existence. And that's just, that's interesting because those guys are a lot smarter than me, why they feel that way. But I just feel like that the machines will come to their own conclusion.
they can't even get the fucking car to run without killing people. So you think they're gonna release that shit?
Right? Any computer that I've ever gotten on, the first thing it does is system failure or some kind of you need this plug-in.
TriCaster. Let's see TriCaster run the fucking world.
Some kind of a plug-in or some kind of a,
They're not going to be able to sustain because of the fucking upgrades you're going to have to do every 25 minutes.
That's right.
I have 28 updates on my cell phone every day for some new app.
Do you think that Skynet has to just stop every so often and download an update?
Download its update. It created its own update. Now it has to download it into the firmwhere.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that's what's going to be the downfall of that shit is updates.
Updates and firmware.
Scheduled updates.
That's right. And then
All
Jeff
right.
Goldblum will just plug in
Yeah.
and download a
Yeah,
virus, and then we're all safe.
Yeah, we're good.
Because life finds a way.
Yes, it does. All right, so we're approaching Terra Neuh 1 here. So what do you got, Dark Intern? Last thoughts.
Don't stay away from AI. Stay far away.
I
Rubber Ducky, hit me.
think that the Dark Intern is on something.
Is the Pillsbury Doughboy?
He's
He's afraid of everything. He's afraid of
He's-
aliens.
yeah.
He's afraid of artificial intelligence.
Yeah, he thinks that everything's gonna take over the world.
Listen, I'm trying to live good,
Yeah.
not live dead.
I'm gonna live good.
You are going to live good. You're going to have all these robots around you. They're going to take care of all these tasks for you and
Yeah,
everything.
so it
It's gonna be
throws me
awesome.
out the window. Yeah, then we're living real good.
He's gonna wake up. It's gonna be
All right, so that is episode 3 of Terra Neuh 1.
I'm Rubber Ducky.
I am Knightwatchman. And we will see you on the other side.